again. Time for the OoTPC number 011, the 11th edition of OoTPC-edness. And I don't mean politically correctedness, I mean podcastery. Castation of pod-like structures.
Castation.
I am the Game Mage, and I am sitting on a couch physically right now with Michael the Hammer K. Klodzinski. Mr. Hammer K, how are you tonight?
I am stupendously, fantastically awesome.
Yes, and I'm doing well now that I'm actually projecting my voice.
Yes.
Acting like I know how to talk. The waveforms on this thing that we're recording are bouncing just fine now. And if you can't hear me, well, that's not my fault.
Right.
Whatever, I don't even know where I'm going with that. But, so we're going to get into this podcast thing. We only have a couple things I guess we're going to talk about. Maybe only one, honestly. But here we go. So, before we jump in, is there anything in particular, Mr. Hammer K, that you would like to speak of this fine evening in which we are in the same room together?
Just the fact that I just leaped across the room silently just then, and it was pretty cool. I felt very Matrixy.
So I wasn't just BSing for no reason there.
Right.
Like I normally do.
Exactly.
So, alright, so I guess the first thing, and this is a big topic for both of us, because this is, you know, much related to lots of things that we have spoken of before, and I'm sure we'll speak of many times again in the future.
Yeah.
So, if you did not catch the biggest news of the past week or two, Hideo Kojima is no longer with Konami. Surprise, surprise, like we didn't see this coming. So his contract was up with Konami on, I believe, the 15th of December. And, like, the 16th, the very next day, he's sitting on a couch next to the most happy man I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Announcing a partnership with Sony to bring a timed exclusive, as I understand it now, game to the PS4. So, he didn't say anything about the game, what it's going to be about, what genre it is. All we know that is that Hideo Kojima has his own production company now called Kojima Productions. There's quite a few people that think that he should have gone with other things, you know, perhaps Diamond Dogs or, you know, tons of other options from the lore that he's created, especially with Metal Gear, the Metal Gear series. But it's going to be Kojima Productions, and Kojima Productions is going to, I would assume, have basically free reign on creating this next. It's supposed to be new IP, so obviously he can't take the stuff from Konami, but
which I think that's really cool. I think it's cool that he's not being forced. Well, not that, you know, his games were bad or anything, but he's being forced to make Metal Gear Solid 19 or whatever, but he can, you know, just clean slate, go for something. So,
well, I mean, especially because, originally he wanted 4 to be the last one. And then, you know, Konami's like, well, we're going to make another one. And then he's like, okay, well, 5's the last one. And it's not going to be the last one, but it's going to be the last real one.
Right. Just like BioShock and all that mess.
Oh, man, well, yeah, that's another thing. But
that is another thing.
But yeah, so what do you think about this, Michael? I mean,
I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, I think it's very funny that Konami basically said that he was on vacation, and they like tap danced around this whole thing, and it was just the strangest thing I have ever heard.
I mean, it's not like we didn't know that he was going to be leaving.
They acted like he was like out for a smoke break or something. Like, oh, he'll be right back. He's just out there, you know, puffing on one. Oh, that sounded bad. He'll be right back though, and then, you know. And that whole stuff with the Game Awards, did you see that?
Oh yeah, dude, that was ridiculous.
Ugh.
So, what that's about was that Metal Gear Solid 5 was nominated for Game of the Year, I think, right? Along with The Witcher 3 and a few other games. Witcher 3 won it. Well-deserved, as I understand it. I've not played it, but I definitely intend to.
Yep.
But, so, Kojima wanted to be there to be able to potentially accept the award. And it did win some award, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what it won, but it did win something. And
he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Not because of his own choice. Apparently, Konami's lawyers told him he could not attend the event.
Yes.
Because he was on a very serious vacation, apparently.
Or a very serious smoke break.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they were afraid that he was going to say something, untoward to Konami or about Konami.
Which was funny because the host, I forgot his name, totally called them out on that. And totally flamed them for that. So that was very funny.
You should check that out on YouTube. There's like just that segment of him and his like, you could tell that he wasn't like super, he knew that it was the right thing to do, but it wasn't a comfortable thing to be doing. So, props to him for calling him out like that, because that's just some bull crap, dude. But so I mean, is it going to be a horror game? Is it going to be a collaboration with Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, Junji Ito? I mean, I think we all hope that it will be, but who knows?
I mean... Yeah, I think that's what so many people are thinking right now. It's like, wait.
Yes.
Is PT going to live on in some form or fashion?
He's going to make Quiet Mountains.
Right.
So
While Konami's making Silent Hill pinball games and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you saw that they did register the, I don't know, not trademark, but something for a... Big Boss pachinko machine.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't released the design or announced it or anything, but there was like some patent or something. It was weird. Anyway,
which I don't mean to throw pinball games under the bus or anything, because pinball is sweet as anything, and if you play a good one, they are freaking awesome.
Well, pinball's different than pachinko, right? Because the pachinko machine's basically a gambling machine.
Yeah.
And there's, not to get too high and mighty, because I definitely don't mean this that way, but I mean, there's the whole rumors that always Konami has been in cahoots with the Yakuza, the mafia in Japan. And what do you know, they run like some of the largest casinos in Japan. And so anyway, the implication can be whatever you want it to be, but
apparently they have some really weird rules and stuff for their employees.
Oh yeah.
Like, the strangest things I've ever heard. Like, apparently they aren't allowed to have, like, a personal email address or something.
Yeah, they're like throwaway email addresses.
Yeah.
It's well, that's based on that report from that person on the inside.
Yeah.
But apparently that's true, that until you become, like, pretty high up in the company, you don't have a permanent email address. And the reason being is that the company's basically not treating you like an individual. You're just like part of their labor mass or whatever. It's weird. But again, I don't want to spread too much hearsay, but I mean, apparently the person who reported that was secondhand, got it firsthand from somebody who actually was working at Konami. So whether that's true or not, that's the story. And Konami hasn't come out to deny it in any sort of way. So. Obviously, they probably wouldn't anyway, because they didn't want to give any sort of legitimacy, but I would not be surprised that if that were true. They also run a whole bunch of, like, gyms. Like,
what?
Like, workout gyms, yeah.
What?
You didn't know this?
I did not know this.
Oh, yeah, like, that's, like, the casino stuff, pachinko parlor stuff, and the, like, 24-hour gyms or something. That's always been their biggest stuff. Like, video games was, like, an afterthought.
Wow.
They only got into video games because they were so big into pachinko, because they thought that, video games could be like the next big, source of revenue for them. And like pachinko was. I mean, it's like any kind of casino. Well, again, I don't want to say casino because like gambling, I guess, strictly isn't legal in Japan, but pachinko houses are, and that's why they're so popular over there, because you can win money.
Right.
Anyway, but let's shift this focus off of Konami, because we all know we all hate Konami, and focus more on Kojima and his future. I think that we're not going to see, obviously we're not going to literally see the next Metal Gear game, and I don't think we're going to see a tactical espionage game either, because I don't think that's what he wants to make now. I'm not saying that to say that we're definitely going to see a horror, survival horror, any kind of game like that, but I don't think we're going to see a, Metal Gear Solid or action Action Team 1 game.
Action Team
I don't know, whatever. I think it's going to be something different, and I'm interested to play it. I mean, even if it's not a horror game, I will probably pick it up. And I have to say, this makes me feel so happy that I got a PS4.
Right.
You know, I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I can't get PT and this, that, and the other. But it's like, I feel like I've been vindicated a little bit. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does with just something new. Kind of like how PT was, even though it was going to be a Silent Hill game. It just felt like something completely new.
I mean, it was gonna be a rebirth of that IP. I mean, that's why we were all of us real hardcore Silent Hill fans were super stoked about it, because it was like Downpour. I have to admit, I've not beaten Downpour and I've not beaten Homecoming. Although I have watched speed runs of Homecoming, and I've seen playthroughs of it too. And
what is that for?
Which system?
Yeah.
You can Homecoming's on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Downpour's on PS3, Xbox 360, and I don't know if they ever released that on PC. But I've played a couple hours of Downpour, and I've played probably 4-ish hours of Homecoming and watched playthroughs of Homecoming. And it's like, those aren't Silent Hill games. They just have the name Silent Hill, and they have nurses in them because they think that's what people want to see.
Right.
And they have Pyramid Head in it because they think that's what people want to see.
Of course.
Completely ignoring the fact that Pyramid Head should be in no Silent Hill game except for 2. Anyway. Different story for a different time. But yeah, we were all super excited because, you know, even if it's not part of the lore of the original trilogy of Silent Hill, and I guess you can argue 4 too, but definitely the first 3. Even if it wasn't part of that lore, and it was just a completely different perspective on the town, or some people in the town, or from the town, or even if it was some sort of transplantation of the spirit of Silent Hill into some other, a reimagining or something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly, how do we know that what we saw wasn't the main character in PT wasn't going to be in some way related to Harry somehow, or maybe it's Harry in some alternate dimension somehow, and the girl that he killed was Cheryl. You know, I mean, maybe I could see Kojima doing something totally effed up like that, and I would have been so ecstatic to see that. So. That excitement, I think, to me, carries over into any kind of new IP that he's going to be behind, because he's no doubt a visionary, and he has extreme talent. And as long as whatever he's focusing on can be managed well by other people, as far as the implementation, the getting it done, the budget, that sort of stuff, it's going to be fantastic. And obviously, Sony was extremely smart to snatch him up.
Very.
I think that they're going to be. It's going to be a printing press for money for them for a little while. It would be even better if somehow they could negotiate the license for Silent Hill away from Konami, but I don't think they're going to get that. It would be awesome if they did, but I don't even care, man. If they make a great survival horror game, I don't even care.
Yep, exactly.
So. Anything else about that?
Man, I'm just pumped. I just can't wait to see what he does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I need to get caught up on Metal Gear Solid.
Dude, yeah.
I've played the first one, and I played half of the second one, and then I got stuck somewhere along the way, and then I kind of stopped playing it, and then that just kind of snowballed, and, didn't play any of the other ones.
Let me tell you, dude. Here's what I did. Go to the Games the Movie subreddit.
Yeah.
And I go back even before Metal Gear Solid. Go watch Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, the MSX2 one, not the one that was on NES. The ones that are the actual real lore.
Oh yeah.
And watch them. Watch playthroughs of them. You're not gonna get the first 2 games. It's okay, you're not gonna get a whole lot, but if you read all of the dialogue. And then you go and watch it for Metal Gear Solid 2, you're going to be like, holy crap. And then Metal Gear Solid 3, it's all tied in together. It's it's nuts, man.
Wow.
It's nuts. And have you ever beaten 2?
No.
Do you know anything about the end of Metal Gear Solid 2?
I don't really remember much of 2.
2 is like the biggest mind screw you'll ever see or play. Like,
that's my favorite kind of thing, really.
Oh, absolutely. That's what he's perfect at. That's why it would have been so great for Silent Hill.
Exactly.
That's the kind of game series that should be.
Even this bro's website right now has the deepest just like thought on it I've ever read. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. This guy's just been consistently putting out quality things, so there's no reason why he would stop now. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited. Extremely excited.
Yeah, we could just rave about our excitement of that for the next ever.
I mean, that's honestly, that's probably about... It was really hard for me to ever say that I'm a real fanboy about anything, because I don't really like the term, but even aside from that, I feel like I want to try to be even keel about stuff, right? And I want to try to be of a level head when I critique things. But I mean, this is about as close as I've gotten to fanboyism in a long time, and PT is what did it. Right. I knew that Kojima had some great stuff that he'd done, and I was a fan of even Metal Gear on NES. That game's hard as crap, but I mean, I still loved playing it when I was younger, and really trying to get far enough where I could actually beat it. And I don't know if I've ever actually beaten it beginning to end without save states on an emulator, but it's a tough game. But it's a great game, and I always knew he did good stuff. But when he starts getting into the things that I mean, survival horror by far. If you guys have not been able to tell by now, survival horror is by far my favorite genre of video game. And when he starts playing around with that, that's when I get really interested. I've always loved the Metal Gear games, and I like the whole sneaking around aspect of them. But just basic action games haven't been very much something I've played. I've just preferred different kinds of games. So anyway, I say that to say I feel like I'm getting to be into fanboyism here, and I'm trying to hold that back. So, all right. So I think we've said enough about that. We've got one other topic I think that's probably germane here. So do you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yes.
Would you like to take that? Because I've been talking a lot.
Sure. So our next topic is QuickTime events, which was brought on by when we talked about Until Dawn last podcast. So for me, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the first game to really use QuickTime events was Shenmue.
I think that's right.
I think. So that was definitely the first time I experienced them, and I really liked it. And everybody really made it out to be like this new awesome hip thing. It was like that thing that Shenmue did it really well, and then every other game did it and abused it, and it started getting this bad reputation, whatever. But yeah. What do you think about QuickTime events? What was your first experience with QuickTime events?
I know a big one was... I'm trying to think if there was anything before that, though. So, the first one that I really vividly remember, and I spoke a little bit about this, is Resident Evil 4. Which is a very good... And I'm going to speak a little bit in a meta sense here about Resident Evil 4 in particular. Is a really, really good video game. It's a good action game. It's not really a Resident Evil game. But, again, that's a conversation for another time, but I just wanted to get that in there edgewise. But I'm trying to think if there was anything that I played before that was QuickTime events. Because, I mean, of course, if you think about, like music rhythm games, that's not really QuickTime events, but it's kind of the same. I don't think people would really think that that's the same, but I mean, it's the same similar mechanic, other than it's always that instead of just being interjected into the game every once in a while. So if you want to count that, then like Parappa the Rapper was the first one that I ever played. But I wouldn't count that. So I think it's going to be Resident Evil 4, because I can't think of anything else, because it wasn't like now every game has them. Not every game, but like a lot of games have them.
Yep.
And back then it wasn't like that. It was like, every once in a while you'd get a game that did it. But to tell you my experience with it, so in Resident Evil 4, the first time there's a quick time event, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you go into this, you open a gate into this area, and you start walking up this path, and then like these people up on this hill like have like a big boulder and they have like sticks under it and they're like pulling the sticks down and then they do it lever the boulder over onto the path and it starts coming at you, and so you gotta run and then at the right time hit the buttons to jump out of the way. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I mean, when you have never seen that before in a video game, it's like, oh wow, it's kind of immersive.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you get the sense of panic that you're running away from this thing. I think actually you have to like tap buttons to run, and then you have to hit a button to jump at a particular time.
I don't really like the tapping ones as much.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil this game for you, man. I really want to talk about the QTEs in Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I understand about that. Later on in the game, though, and you've got to play this game so that we can really talk about this, but later on in the game, there's things that happen where the quick time events are more integrated into the narrative of the story in the game, and it's really cool. It's the best QTEs I've ever played in a video game. And so I think that there's maybe a few too many in that game. If they're like maybe half as many, it would be about perfect. But now it's just like too many games do it. I think Until Dawn it's fine. I think that's the kind of game where you would have lots of quick time events and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean people are going to like it, and I understand that if people don't. But I think
especially if you're not comfortable with a controller that you're using.
Absolutely.
You're just
you're
screwed.
if I had to use a stinking Xbox controller, well, I'd be okay with the Xbox One controller now because it's the same as 360.
Yeah.
But if I had not played 360, if I'd only ever played PlayStation consoles, and then you sit me down in front of an Until Dawn type game with a Xbox One controller, I would be like, oh, what the crap, what the crap, what the crap. Right. But I mean, when you have the controller memorized, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Until Dawn was probably one of the harder, like they were very quick. They were very quick in that game.
Well, I think it was cool that you could sometimes you could affect how quick they were. Mm-hmm. Like if you had like a divergent path, it was like the safe way or the fast way. It's
I figured that out quickly.
Yeah. And I don't think either of those paths ever changed anything. It's not like you got done quicker. It was just, I don't want to take longer.
Yeah, I always thought I need to take the quick way.
Yeah. But you know what? And the more that I think about this, I can't think of many other games I've played that have quick time events. I mean, you know me, I haven't played a whole lot of modern games in general. Like I only play like the real high profile ones or the ones that I know are in like a series that I really want to play, like BioShock or whatnot.
Yeah. Biggest thing that comes to mind recently is Uncharted.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I play those games.
Those are done pretty well to the point that you don't really remember that they're there.
Yeah, case in point, I just didn't.
It's very tastefully thrown into cutscenes.
Well, especially like Uncharted 2, that one part where there's like the train hanging off the cliff, and that was really cool.
Yep. A lot of the Telltale games, I mean, that's pretty much what they are. You select what dialogue you want to say, and then quick time event, and that kind of thing. That's
like the whole Until Dawn thing. That's like they're the same sort of.
Yeah, thing. It's the exact same kind of thing. It's just they're a bit lower budget, but the writing is extremely good.
Oh yeah. They're well produced.
Yeah, which I just started. I got season 2 of The Walking Dead for Vita.
Just the first one.
$7.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been playing that. And,
sweet.
Yeah, I am on episode 2 of it. I think there are 5 episodes.
Okay.
Apparently, it starts off really good, and then it gets kind of like go into a valley in the middle of it, and then it climaxes in the end like it does in the first game, and it's just as crazy as it is in the first game, apparently.
Well, that's cool.
Which, I mean, honestly, you could just watch somebody play the game and
but the reason why I want to one, I want to make my own decisions in those kinds of games, and 2, I just love The Walking Dead, even though I haven't watched anything of the newest season.
I need to get caught up on that.
That's a great show. I love it.
And man, I got just as invested in the characters in this game as the TV show.
That's awesome. Awesome.
And there a couple of the characters make appearances in the game.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a different story in the same universe.
Yeah. what were we talking about? Oh, so QuickTime events. Yeah. So what about you? I mean, you were speaking about Shenmue, but what about other games beyond that? Any particularly bad experiences you've had with QTEs?
I know I've had them, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Yeah. Just probably tried to wipe my memory of those. A lot of times they just get thrown in randomly, like in some of the more recent Sonic games, like to do a stunt or something after you do a hoo-dick-a-hoo off the ramp, you hit a button and then you'll...
A what?
A hoo-dick-a-hoo. You'll do a back flipperoonie with a twistellini and...
Sounds like pasta.
Yeah, I don't know why I just got so Italian all of a sudden. But stuff like that, it's just, it feels really random. It's like, whoa, a QuickTime event. Wait a minute. Oh.
It's like, you know what would be awesome right here? An effing QuickTime event.
Exactly. And exactly how I was talking about, whenever that was, when I was saying how some of those more recent Sonic games feel like they just, okay, let's brainstorm, get a bunch of ideas. Okay, we're going to do this gimmick here, this gimmick here, this gimmick here. Okay, accordion all that together. Here's a level and stuff like that.
Man, I know this goes back to me saying that I wouldn't want to be a game designer, but come on, quit being lazy with design, people. It's like, instead of a QuickTime event, where it's just like hit a button, if you want a QuickTime event, do something where it's like you have to solve a puzzle real fast. Doesn't have to be a complicated puzzle, just something real simple, right? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. You know what I really like? I don't know what... you've not played Fallout 4, but this is what I really like. I like hacking in Fallout 4 when you try to hack terminals. Mm-hmm. How was it in Fallout 3? I don't know how you did that.
Man, I don't remember.
The mechanic behind it.
I've played several games since then that you hacked in, so I don't remember what you did in that.
Although I think the best ever hacking mechanic in any game ever was in the original BioShock.
Oh, yeah,
where you got to play Pipe Dream. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Ratchet and Clank actually has a cool one where you're trying to open a lock.
Yeah.
And it's like this, it's a circle, and then the more difficult it is, the more little things you move around in there. But as with anything, but it has basically these lasers. So they're on the outer rim, there are targets, and then on the inner, there are inner rings, and you have lasers that you move around. And some of them are tied to each other, so you have to make sure that they line up with the targets on the outside. And then some of them also have like blockers in there too, so you have to figure out how to move all of them to avoid the blocker.
Oh, wow. It sounds complicated.
Yeah. Some of them are crazy. Some of them I'm just like, I have no idea how I just did that. I have no clue. But they're like, 3 or 4 different layers, ring layers that you move around.
Dude. So like in Fallout 4, the way you hack a terminal, it shows you like 2 columns of like characters. And most of it's like gibberish, but every once in a while you'll see like a word in there. Mm. And so there's like maybe like there's the harder it is to hack, the more words you see, and the harder it is to hack, the longer the words are too. Mm. And so what you have to do is one of the words that you see is the password, and so you have to pick which one's the password. Sounds simple. Well, you only have 3 tries before it locks you out. And so the way that it works, if you pick a password that's incorrect, it tells you how many likenesses there are. A likeness means the same character in the same space as the password, or the same position as the password. So if it's like a 4 or 5 letter word, I don't think there are any 4, but if it's a 5-letter word, and 3 of the words start with S, and you pick one that starts with S, and it's like, oh, one likeness, or it's like, well, it's possible that it's one of those others that start with S.
Yeah.
And so it's really a lot more challenging than you'd think. But it's actually, there's some skill to it too, because if you stop and look at all of the words that are available before you choose your first one, you want to choose one that has a lot of correlation to all the other words, so that if you pick it, then okay, if it says like, if you're like, oh wow, this has like S is the first letter, E is the 3rd letter, and N is the 5th letter, and there's another one that's like that too, and then you pick that and it's like 0 likenesses, then you know it's not the other one that looks like that too. So if you can get enough of those to match up, and then you pick it, and it's like no, well you just eliminated like 5 options.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool mini game like that. Not saying that you could do that for a quick time event, but you could do like a simple version of that, or like a goodness forbid math problem. It's like which one of these is a prime number? It's like and be like 2, 3, 8. It's like make that really fast. That's a lot more interactive to me. And this is coming from the guy who studied math in college, but to me that would be a lot more fun than like hit A as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me rambling, because I think that would be really fun, actually.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I can't think of any other games that have QuickTime events.
Isn't that weird? Like, everyone's like, oh, QuickTime events are everywhere! But you sit down and think about it, it's like, well, where are they?
Like, I'm literally looking at a bunch of games right now, and I can't even think of any.
I don't know, man. But the thing is, I think that a lot of games use them in a way that, unless you're like a games journalist where you're playing like games all the time, like literally all the time, it's presented well enough that it's not going to stick out like, oh, that was a QuickTime event.
I feel like that ship has pretty much sailed where everybody feels like they have to throw them in, and now whenever you see them, they're usually pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the problem is that when you get a mechanic like that you get real like literal copycats in other games, it's because it's not just the mechanic they're copying. A lot of times they're copying the whole game. Like Uncharted. I mean, you get a lot of games that were like just wanted to be Uncharted or act like or give that kind of feel or action, and it's like, of course none of them were as good as Uncharted, because Uncharted wasn't just a story-ish driven game with action sequences. It was more than that. It's Uncharted's really a instance where the whole is more than the sum of the parts, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of Uncharted and copy games, Tomb Raider. Have you played that? The new Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider?
The new like reboot.
So there's a sequel to that one.
Yeah.
So the first one, yes, I've played Tomb Raider, but I'm not. I got it on. It actually came with my graphics card for free.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So I've played a little bit of it, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. It's actually funny. She gets demolished in that game. Like, I don't know how far.
Oh, like that first intro sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I don't know how far you got in it, but she gets beaten down in that game and is a beast. She just keeps going.
Man, like
her character model changes as you progress through the story to get more and more beaten up.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only got I got through that whole intro sequence, and then maybe played like an hour beyond that into it or something.
Yeah.
So not very far at all, in other words.
Yeah. That whole part's kind of It feels more like a tech demo for the game or something.
Right. Well, there's a lot of QuickTime events in that.
But at midway through it starts getting pretty good.
That's cool.
But Enslaved.
Oh yeah.
For PS3.
Odyssey to the West.
Yes, I think it may be for Xbox as well, or 360 as well. That is a good one. It has the same kind of Uncharted feel where you're climbing around and doing things.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it did not sell very well, but it's another one of those cult following kind of games. So if you ever see Enslaved, which if you do, it'll probably be like $10. I would highly recommend it for $10.
Nice. Very cool.
So yeah. We're just ordering tires today.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you can't tell, we weren't entirely prepared for this podcast, but I think we've made a go of it.
Yeah.
So, anything else we want to cover before we get out of here?
You playing anything good?
Mostly the same. Mostly just playing Resident Evil, dude. Like Resident Evil 2. I beat it. Okay, so I got Biohazard 2 for PC, so the Japanese version.
Sweet.
I beat it in, I think, 56 minutes and 44 seconds. Liane.
Wow.
Well, that sounds great, but like that's 41st on the leaderboard. But here's what's funny. I had like 56 minutes and something. first place is like 50 minutes or like 49:59. Actually, I don't think it's sub 50. I think it's like 50 minutes and like 11 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So there's that like 6 minutes between first and 41st. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, because you have to be like perfect.
Yeah.
The reason being is that this is something that I thought I would never say. It is so much easier to control Resident Evil 2 with a keyboard than it is with a controller.
Really?
It is so it's like easy mode. Like, I can't even explain how much easier.
That's interesting.
I never thought it would be until I tried to play it. I'm like, I can just dodge all these zombies like I'm Superman. It's ridiculous.
That's cool.
But what's really cool is that the speedrunning community for Resident Evil 2, and some of the others too, but there's this one guy, he goes by D Chaps, and he's done a whole lot of stuff. And there's other guys too that have worked on this, and I don't want to like forget to credit people, but I've been using this program called Live Split to do like splits, like different sections of the game to see how fast I am at it. So to see if I can improve different sections. Like either D Chaps or one of the other guys on the forums on speedrun.com created an auto splitter script that reads the memory of the game as you're playing it, so that when you get to a certain point, it automatically splits it, so that you don't have to manually hit it. Yeah, it's really cool. It took me a while to get it set up because you have to get like the right version of the game and of the splitter, and so it did not work at first, but once I got it working, it's really sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was the first run I had of Biohazard 2, so I'll probably do that again. But there's a lot of competition on the PC because it's like really easy to get that version. And it's really easy to get pretty good at it because of the keyboard controls.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go back to playing it. Actually, I could not find my Resident Evil 2 discs for PlayStation. I don't know where they went.
Oh.
Like, it's sad.
That's no good.
So I had to order another set off eBay, so I ordered those today. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. Because apparently, if you play it on PS3, it loads, the emulator in PS3 loads exactly like you're playing on a PlayStation 1. But if you play it on a PlayStation 2 and you select like fast disc speed, it's like the game's faster and loads faster. And so the timer in game counts, how long to load too. So if it's loading faster, then you get time off just because you're loading faster.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will. I mean, it's going to be like seconds difference. It's not going to put me from 11th to like 4:30 thing, but.
Wow.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's really
cool,
all
though.
I've been doing. I've been really obsessed with that. It's becoming unhealthy probably. What about you, sir?
Man, I could never do that. I don't know. Anytime I've ever wanted to go back and try to play a game again, I just can't.
Resident Evil 2 is very special. Well, the whole series, but particularly Resident Evil 2 is very special to me because it was the first video game that I got obsessed with it. So, like, now I've been obsessed with video games as long as I can remember, and I've always wanted to, like, play a bunch of games and play through games, but I've never been, like, so persistent at a game that I'm like, I have to beat this game when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so I spent the time invested to get to beat the game when I was younger, and that's kind of like coming back out of me now. I'm like, well, now I just want to get really good at it.
Right.
And it's weird because I can't imagine it being any other game other than something in the Resident Evil series or perhaps the Silent Hill series, because I've thought about trying to speedrun another game, and I'm like, I don't even know if I feel like it. The only other one that I might do is BioShock Infinite because
I think you should do that.
I got pretty good at that one for a while. Maybe I could do like see if they'll start a new category for like no gun runs.
How many times did you beat BioShock Infinite?
Probably close to a dozen. I mean, and that was like within like the first month of it being released too. It was ridiculous. And I haven't played it much since then. It's just I got hyper obsessed with that game for some reason.
I just remember like every morning I'd talk to you, be like, oh, I beat it again.
Yeah. Oh, that was so. I don't even know what possessed me to do that. It was just. I mean, it's a great game. It's just a great game. So. Well, so what about you? Anything going on in that way for you, other than Walking Dead season 2?
Been playing Walking Dead season 2. Still playing Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
started playing Freedom Planet, which is it was the Indie Box game last month. It's basically a Sonic the Hedgehog clone.
Okay.
Like Sonic 2 kind of clone.
Nice.
So yeah, it feels more like a Sonic game than any Sonic game I have played in the past 15 years. So yeah, that's really good. Which actually, funny story with that. So Indie Box, for those of you who don't know, Indie Box is it's like a team of like 6 people, and they make physical releases for indie games. So they'll pick an indie game, and then they will like make artwork for it, print up like a full manual for it, and then put in some like little collectible things in with it, and then we'll give you the soundtrack of the game, and then the game on a USB drive, one of the like card USB drives that you can print image on front and back.
Yeah,
looks kind of like a credit card. So they do that, and so Freedom Planet was last month's, and I don't know if it was delivered to the wrong house or if it just happened to wind up walking away off my doorstep or whatever, but I got home and it was delivered and it was not there. And so I was like, that's super cool story, guys. Dude. All right. Needless to say, I was slightly livid because this isn't exactly something I can just get back on Amazon and order another one.
Right.
And so I emailed them about it, and it took them a little bit to respond, just because it's holiday time, and it's a team of 6 people.
Yeah.
So they eventually responded, and long story short, they sent me a new one. So
awesome.
So that was really cool.
Man, good
really
on
cool
them.
Of them. Yeah. But yeah, I would highly recommend Indie Box if you like indie games and you like physical things, physical game objects.
I may have to subscribe for a few months there. 'Cause that's the kind of customer service that I want to support.
Yes, it is. Very, very cool people, and every several weeks they send out these. They actually spend the time to make like an update video, and it's not like something they just pull up a webcam and record it. Like somebody actually recorded this, edited it, made it pretty, and did some stuff like that.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's a really cool service if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, I've been playing that. That's about it at the moment.
Awesome.
Hopefully going to be getting to the next game on my list sometime soon, which is Silent Hill whatchamacallit on Wii.
Shattered Memories?
Yes, that one.
Oh, man.
Which has literally been on my list for like 2 years now.
We should just play that tonight. You could beat it tonight.
Right.
I'm serious.
I mean, I don't care.
Maybe we're going to play some Silent Hill.
Maybe we will.
All right, man. You good?
I'm golden.
All right, so thank you guys so much for listening to us. This has been the OoTPC number 011, number 11, almost a dozen. So we are a band, we are Order of Tier. Our music can be obtained for free if you would like, or if you'd like to tip us a little bit, we would be much appreciative. But you can get that at videogamemetal.com. You can also get it at soundcloud.com/videogamemetal. So we've got everything up for download on SoundCloud too. So if you want to get it that way, if you like the SoundClouds, go and do that. Feel free.
Yep.
Everywhere else on the internet, we are at that site /Order of Tier. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Vine.
Oh, Vine!
And not Pinterest yet. So check us out. We try to be pretty active, If you want to say anything to us, feel free on any of those platforms. If you want us to talk about something on either this podcast or our bi-weekly hangout on air called Order More Tires, tweet at us with hashtag #TalkToTier. That's TalkToTyr. And we would be happy to speak about those things because we like to talk. If you
we
can't
do.
Tell. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I am the Game Mage, and I have been joined physically in the same room tonight by Mike the Hammer K. Klodzinski.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time.